Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the, what are we, the 9th of September episode of my fantabulous live stream. Before we go any further, I want to do the usual housekeeping. That's the part where I say this is the Bevies, Blades, and Bushcraft live stream, where we got bevies, we got blades. Come on, fool. We got blades, and we do, on occasion, talk about bushcraft-related things. If you're watching us time shifted to tomorrow or next week or whatever, whenever, thanks. Excuse me. I do love knowing that you're watching this stuff, maybe interacting with this stuff by dropping a couple of comments down below the doobly-doo, even though it's too late for you to actually participate in the chat that is not appearing there for some reason. Excuse me. If at any point tonight you really love this fabulous show that we all work together to make as great as it really kind of is, please feel free to hit that smiley thumb. If at any point tonight you get a shot of realism and you realize this is, guys, boring, that's okay. Drop me a frowny thumb. That works just as well. It's all engagement. And if you'd like to help keep that light on, as so many in the side chat already have, then I invite you to go boop on the join button, do a right boop, and open it in a new tab. Okay, because that way you won't miss any of the fabulosity that's going on in the side chat and here in my voice. And so, yeah, that will show you the 2 tiers of membership that are available to you, as well as what you get for your hard-earned money. We do a lot of members-only live streams around here. They're usually about booze, but every now and again I get to do one about something sort of bushcraft related. So that's the housekeeping out of the way. I just want to see who's hanging with us. I don't know what we're talking about tonight. My glasses are filthy. Gross. That is so gross. C'est complètement dégueulasse, as we say here. So I'm just going to pop them off, put them over there, so I don't have to look through them. Excuse me. Tonight I have tea, which is, as I always say, a good drink. We got an empty glass for at 10 o'clock. Oh, I was like, oh, I forgot to bring a whiskey. Okay, I got this Franklin Origine, which is a local Quebec whiskey. I think I've told you guys about twice now. 6733. That's 67% barley and malted barley, and 33% rye. 40% alcohol by volume, which means that I can have a dram while we're chit-chatting and not get completely destroyed. Whereas many of my whiskeys are 50% or above. Gets a little dangerous at times. For earlier in the evening, this is a session IPA. Now, as you guys know, IPA makes me dry heave, but I'm going to try it anyway. Okay? La souche means the stump, the stump, I guess, the stump of a tree. In fact, there's a picture of a stump right there. In Quebec, there's a term vraie souche, which we're not going to go into because it's awful. It's essentially calling white Quebecers sort of like old stock. Garbage. I don't want to get political, though. Let's see if I can do the pour. If Serge is around, I'm going to blow the pour. Oh. See, I can't tell how I'm doing until it comes north of the trees. North of the tree line. Above the tree line. There, that'll... Excuse me. So, hi. Let's just see who's kicking back with us. How is every little buddy today? Today was a little chillier than we've had up until now, but it was nice. I had a whole bunch of appointments today, so I ended up actually having to take the day off work because of all the appointments, which that's a lot of appointments. I'm having some trouble tonight. I don't know what's on. I don't have a cold, I don't think, but I'm a little congested, and I've got a little bit of the things going on, you know. So yeah, so let's check the side Shitty Mate chat and see who's kicking back with us on this night of nights. I believe I set this stream up relatively early. Do I have that right? I believe. Like it was around 5, I think, or before that. Maybe it was around 4:15, maybe something like that. Peanut Trucker is number 1 this week at 5:11 p.m. Hold on one little second while I scroll up. What? Shut up, Jesse. Number 1 this week says Peanut Trucker. You are the truth sayer, mister. And he's also number 2. Number 3, yeah. Peanut Trucker knew what was up. He made sure to pop in three comments. Cookie Frisco. And there's poor Canadian just missing out on the number 3 spot by 10 minutes. Oh, okay. So Peanut Trucker popped in to say hi, or to say number 1 at 5:11, then at 7:24, then at 7:40, and then Canadian was like, "Hey, there's action going on. I got to get in there." That was only at 7:50, and he was the first thumbs up at 7:51. Nice, Chris. Then in pops Mr. Country Boy. How you doing? At 8:10. So these guys are all just cool guys because they were popping in nice and early. On top of that, Peanut Trucker is a channel mod, so be nice or get stomped. And Country Boy is also a channel mod. Oh, and a channel hero. For those of you who are wondering why I say that about people every single week, is because as part of your membership, I promise to mention it on screen or in writing. Like, I don't think technically it says every single week, but it doesn't cost me anything to throw out some appreciative little nonsense, right? And Mr. Country Boy, yes, it's stuff and nonsense because I was racking my brain for what we're going to talk about. I thought maybe we would continue with what we'd sort of started on last week, but I didn't have the spoons to talk. Because here's the thing: if I have a subject, I like to at least have some websites open to refer to, or some, like, take one of these books. This is where all my outdoors and camping books are and stuff. But I didn't have the time. Way too busy a day. It's pretty IPA. It's just got the bitterness, the hoppiness that I'm not a big fan of. There's some nice citrusy juiciness there, though. So, stuff and nonsense. That's what it's called. That's what it is. Chris thinks that we have plenty of stuff. I agree. We have a lot of stuff. There's Mr. Marcus popping in at 8:32. Mr. Marcus is a channel hero. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Won't be able to join as it's my wife's birthday. I hope everyone has a great night, though. Okay. Well, I've probably missed him then, because he said that like before I was even on. So, Mr. Marcus, if you're watching us after the fact or whatever, it was nice of you to pop in, even as briefly as you did. We got Mr. David. Mr. David is number 2 on the little leaderboard or whatever it is. Canadian's number 3. He's a channel mod and a channel hero, by the way. And he's saying just hey, what's up? And we got Grace popping off some birthday wishes to Marcus's wife. So everyone say hi to Grace. She said hi to all of us. David is asking if, but I mean, Marcus is gone. Are you giving Tina a lantern for her birthday, or maybe a lawn tractor? You know what I would love for Christmas one year is a snowblower. because I've reached that age where digging out Montreal snow can cause you can slow you down quite a bit. I might buy myself one this year to congratulate myself for, I don't know, reaching 53. I don't know. I'll come up with an excuse. Although, as I said before, I'm really going to try to underspend for the rest of this year. And whatever I do spend has to go into organizing this workspace of mine and, stuff like that. I am looking for where the heck we was, and I don't know where we was. Everyone's saying hi. Everyone's saying hi. Everyone's saying hi. Hey, there's Mr. Quest. How you doing, Skip? Excuse me. I hope you're having a good night, Skip. I hope the weather is treating you right. Everyone's still saying happy birthday to Marcus's wife. Canadians dropping some emoji. More hellos. I'm just trying to skip past that. There's Christy. How you doing? Happy Tuesday to you as well, Christy. I hope you're not burning up down there in Arizona. Excuse me. By the way, Christy is also a channel hero. The caucus of the heart are warmed. Seeing so many membership icons. You guys are beautiful, man. Skipping past the hellos, because that is a great way to catch up. Peanut Trucker says, don't forget to say hi to Jess. If Destiny shows up, I'll make sure she sees that. Yeah, Christy knows Destiny should be here soon. Oh, hey, there is Destiny, actually. Hilarious. Saying hi to not me. Not me. I'm just sort of rolling on down a little bit here to make sure I'm not missing anybody. We got Christy, Peanut Trucker, we got David. I think we're okay. We're okay. Oh, by the way, Destiny is a channel hero. Gotta make sure that everybody knows. Hi, with Mike popping in. How are you doing, Mike? How are the swamps of Florida? You stinking hot? You wet as all get out? Or you sort of starting to, I was going to say chill off, but that's not a real English. Cool off down there. It's definitely cooled off here on this day of days. Definitely cooler than it's been. Hey, there's Gary Graham. How you doing tonight, Gary? How's the weather treating you? I don't remember where Gary is geographically. So instead of saying, I hope it's not too hot or too cold, I'm hoping that the weather's treating you well. Because I have a mind like a steel sieve. I don't retain anything, which is why I have this little book that I was writing on at the very start of this live stream. I was writing myself a note to to handle some stuff. Pool-related stuff. There's the hello, Jess. Thank you, Destiny. Nice to see. Nice to see I'm being noticed on my own live stream. I'm going to sneeze. It's okay. It's fine. David Evans says, I'm writing a country and western song called Hey Baby Come Sit on My Wood Stove. Catchy title, eh? You just reminded me of that scene in the Blues Brothers where they're playing this like country western bar with like the chicken wire in front of the stage or something. And they're like, we're very open-minded. We like both kinds of music here, country and western. I should watch that movie again. Chris says, my sister flies in Thursday, rents a house on the beach every year. We all get together for a few days. She and I do all the cooking. Nice. So when I used to go country, I was about to say when I used to go country. When I used to go hunting, I would do a lot of the cooking as well. I would sort of be the kitchen guy. I liked it. I I do kind of when I'm not rushing. Did Country Boy just donated, but it doesn't tell me how much. Whoa, what the hell are you doing, Country Boy? I mean, thank you. The timing is amazing, but why'd you do that? Wait, are you assigning me a bottle to buy? Is that what's going on? Let me check it out. I haven't gotten there yet. Chris did watch last week's show since you missed the live one. That's all right. I mean, it's always best when you're here because you bring so much to the side chat. But I mean, whatever. It's not school, right? We don't take attendance. But yeah, I'm glad to know you caught up. I should there are so many things that I'd love to do with these live streams if I had any freaking time. I would love to have like little quizzes prepared or something. Like there's a whiskey live stream that I watch on Thursdays. Okay, I haven't seen it in months because Thursdays are crazy. But they would always have like a whiskey related quiz. He always has guests on, and he would roll this quiz, and the guests would have to sort of write down their answer and then hold them up, and everyone in the side chat could put down their answers as well. Love it. Wish I could do it, but I don't feel that on a whiskey channel everyone has something in common, right? A love of whiskey. Sometimes just a love of booze, but I mean, there's a lot of whiskey anoraks that actually watch whiskey talk, right? YouTube. I've managed to collect a crowd that's not quite as singular in focus. Like if I asked a whole bunch of bushcraft questions, is that unfair for people who are actually just off-gridders? It is maybe not for people who are preppers, because there is a lot of overlap there, but they're not exactly the same thing, just basic camping quiz stuff. But like there's a lot of work goes into coming up with a 10-question quiz every week. That's why on the Barflies live stream, he doesn't put all the quizzes together. There are some of his members put like a 10-question quiz together for him every week. His community is huge though, and it includes some whiskey journalists and stuff. But I would love to come up with something. Gary's got 2 open on number 8 knives. I love them. I also love them. I think did we talk about this last week? Was it with you? I was talking about number 8s. No, it's like the perfect Opinel, because they make like a. So for those of you who don't know, you probably mostly know, but for those of you who don't know, so an Opinel is a French folding knife with a very cool and very French locking mechanism, very often used for camp kitchen or camp eating or whatever. But in France, it's just a pocket knife as well, and and they're numbered from I think number 2 up to number 13 or something, and each number is a size larger. So like a number 9 is a little bit bigger than a number 8, and below a number 13 is huge. I've looked at a lot of Opinels. I've bought I think 3. No, currently we have 2 or 3 in our camping stuff. We use them as food. When we're eating. The English is hard. We use them for food when we're camping. The number 9 is really nice as well because it's a little bigger and everything. But I love the number. It's number 8 is the classic one. Everyone who has an Opinel has a number 8. They may have a number 8 and like a number 4, or a number 8 and a number 9, or a number 8 and but everyone's got the 8. It's the perfect one. It's classic. It's simple. Birch handle, very thin blade. They come sharp as the dickens, and they're very easy to sharpen. Number 8. I like the number 8 for the same reason. Most of my belt knives and my favorite size is a 4-inch blade. Yeah, a chopper is a lot more useful in many situations, but I'm most comfortable with a 4-inch belt knife blade, or around that. It doesn't have to be exactly, like 375. That's fine. 425. That's fine as well. But also, a 4-inch blade that's the classic bushcraft knife blade size. It's around that. I can baton with it. Anything too big, probably not. If it's a Canadian belt knife, you're not supposed to baton with it anyway. How many of my OG members, like how many of you even remember that? That was years ago. But yeah, I do love the open L. And they make them with colored handles now. I don't want a colored handle one. Like there's one made for sort of damp weather, which has, I think, a polymer or plastic handle, which is, I don't know, blue or green or something. And of course, as with all good knives, you may choose between stainless, which will say inox on the blade, or carbon for... I just censored myself. I'm a carbon fan. I know that there's a lot more maintenance involved in carbon. I get that. But I love carbon steel. I will never say that I love stainless. I do have some stainless, and in certain contexts, it's ideal. But I love carbon steel. Carbon steel sort of gives me the fizz. But that was me really falling down a rabbit hole on Gary Graham. But yeah, Gary, do both of them have just the basic bridge handle, or do you have one that's colored, or like the plastic handle or whatever? Hey, there's Sean in Alaska. How are you doing, mister? Back at work? Building stuff, back at work, living the life up there, surrounded by breathtaking beauty. He said, trying not to let the envy bubble up. Okay, so everyone's saying hi. Everyone's saying hi. Nice. Sean did the smiley thumb. How many of you did the smiley thumb? Wait, what? David says to Destiny, and the next line is, hey, baby, warm the cockles of my heart. What are you on about? Oh, I get it. Okay. Hey, baby, come sit on my wood stove, warm the cockles of my heart. Let's talk about the boreal. It's seminal. Destiny's like flipping through the book of quotable quotes, adding lyrics. Hike with Mike says, Hike with Mike saith, I miss the woods and my place of serenity, and so damn busy with work. I feel so out of balance. The only place I feel at peace is a walk in the woods. So I've seen some of your videos, and there are definitely woods down there, but what would you say is the ratio down there in Florida of like honest to goodness woods to honest to goodness like swampland or marsh? No, it's mostly swamp, right? Like, because it my concept of Florida is all either beaches full of whatever tourists and stuff, or like those boats with the big fans on them in swampland. But how much actual forest land is there in Florida? Probably more so more in the north, right? Like, is my geographical concept making any sense here? Like, I would see it more foresty up in the north, and the further down you get, the more it just sort of gets swampy. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? You guys, by the way, will be pleased to know I turned off the Wi-Fi on this computer for tonight. Sean loves IPAs. I know that. We've had this conversation. I know that, Sean. A lot of people do. Dude, it seems that, at least in Canada, the entire craft brewery movement has settled on the IPA as their flagship brews, like the one that every small brewery shows off as like the pinnacle of their skill is their IPA. And for someone like me, that's a little disappointing, especially because there were some killer freaking browns being made out there, or like red Rus, whatever the hell Rus is. Is that a brown ale in English, or is that a red? You know, some great cream ales, a lot rarer. Every now and again, there's a fabulous nut brown, and so it's like IPAs, and it's like stout or porter, right? Coffee stout, espresso stout, imperial, you know, um, raspberry porter. It's like, and I love that stuff. So that's terrific. Although I'm drinking so much less than I used to. Like I'm having this beer because I bought it for a party a couple of weeks ago. And I don't even. Oh, Sean's eating while he watches. What are you chowing down on? What's supper tonight, Sean? What did you make? Peanut Trucker does not drink Kiss. I knew that. You drink what is it? Diet Coke? No. There's a diet pop that you drink a lot of, and I can't remember which one it is. Oof, the verbal typos are real, guys. I have an appointment tomorrow to adjust my meds. Gary does not drink either. I definitely support that. I think I don't know, my philosophy on booze is shifting slightly, I guess. Country Boy drinks enough for both of us. Don't worry about it. So this past week, I tried a new cocktail design. It was one night, I don't remember. I was home alone. I made this cocktail. I took a sip and realized I don't want to drink anything tonight. So I just poured it out. I would have had to remake it anyway because I was like, it's not really balanced. But I was just, I'm not doing this tonight. Nope. Which means that when I do have a drink, I appreciate it more because it's become much rarer. Country Boy's asking if Sean still got roast beef leftovers. Somebody got an ad? I didn't get an ad. I don't get it. French dip, yeah, that's all right, man. That's the stuff. Well, I squirrel up. That's a Freudian. It wasn't Freudian. I was just being, it was for funsies. Hold on a second. I'm just sort of, hold on. Trying to figure out where I was, where I am. Oh, Tabernouche. I don't know where it went. I have no idea. I'm trying to see how late I am. I'm trying to see how late I am here. And everything's just sort of jumped. So I'm just gonna Tabernouche. It's completely. There it is. Okay. So that was at 9:08. So that's how late I am. Oof. Okay. I'm working on catching up here, people. Destiny says we need a picture of a video of Chris and his sister cooking with Chris, and guess this is. I support that. Oh yeah, Destiny's asking Sean when his lives start up again. That's true. Tourist season is over. Your internet is probably getting back up there. I just poured the last of the beer into my cup. Country Boy says, if Chris and his sister are cooking, I'm flying to Florida to gain 20 pounds. Fair enough. Chris says, she makes floating biscuits. And yes, there'll be plenty of video and pictures. What the hell's a floating biscuit? Is that like an anti-gravity snack? What the hell? And Sean will start his lives up again in October. because that's when he gets dependable signal. Good to know. Still 100 degrees down there. That's 100 degrees freedom. So yuck. Nope. Nope. You know, homing in on like 40 degrees Canadian is not. It does not a happy Jesse make at all. Sean says, I had 51 in the cabin when I got back from work tonight, so I fired up the stove. Hey, there's Mr. Raspberry Rock himself. How are you doing, Russell? How's the weather at the cabin? Do you have the fire on yet? Peanut Trucker loves winter. I also like winter. I have said in episodes before that there's context to that, but I have definitely come around to liking winter a lot. Christy is jealous of Sean's weather up in Alaska. I could see that. Christy, you live on the surface of the sun, remember? Oof. Sean's got this week's video done and footage for the next 2 weeks. Nice. I've been fighting with an edit. It's taking me forever. Absolutely forever. Hike with Mike. Loves the heat. Don't like temperatures below 60. I don't know what 60 is. That's going to be somewhere in the teens or the early 20s, I guess. I'm thinking. Yeah, low 20s maybe. I'm just Destiny says, get the backpacks slow. Verbal typo. Get the backpack snowblower, aka leaf blower. Steel, but I get the Big Daddy one. Use your air miles points, Jess. It is such a great machine. I could see that working when the snow is like that light powdery stuff. Like when the snow plow, you know, leaves a 4 foot wide, 3 foot high stripe across the bottom of my driveway. I kind of don't think that blower is gonna do the job. Shakes your boobies, but worth it. If I put on 1 more pound, I'm gonna have bitch tits. I'll let you know. Ooh, David had 4 degrees C this morning at 7. Holy crap. That's cooler than we were. Destiny says the John Deere shop will let you upgrade for under $100 worth the blow. Not that way. I might look into it. Sean says Russell's not ranked yet. No, he showed up quite late, so there's a couple of others who got the jump on him. He'll probably rank. Country Boy is going exactly where I went as well. They're called moobs, right? Totally forgot about that. Christy says they're still burning up down there at 106 degrees freedom. Yikes. But by midweek, you'll be under 100. Wow, that's an improvement. I mean, I'm just sweating just thinking about that. Graham says it's 75 here in Benson, North Carolina. So that's 75. Is that like around 25 degrees? 22, 25? I wish I was better with sort of doing the math in my head. Destiny likes 75. So Destiny knows what 75 is. Country Boy gave me $100. Buy a bottle. I really like the Tabor Corn 101. Okay. I will buy the bottle and I'll let you know. Maybe I'll open it on a live stream. Thank you very much, mister. It's actually 73 degrees in my area of Florida, says Hike with Mike. So it's actually cooling down. Yikes. I would not be able to live down there. Not with those kind of not with 73 being cooling down. Nope. Moves. Destiny's asking Mike, do you have your weekends free or are you lots of marking teacher? Like what Mike says, something that rings true. The one thing we don't have enough of in our lives is time. That is true in many ways. First of all, there are so many things that end up falling by the wayside. Even now that I'm a lot more active in terms of doing the stuff that needs to be done, but I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, I still run out of time, you know, with a to-do list. I'll have a to-do list that's like 6 items long on any given day or whatever, and there'll still be like 2 things at the end of the day. But also, I mean, several of us here are at the age where there are fewer days ahead than there were behind, right? So time becomes a lot more precious in that case. Someone else, Destiny says she got an ad. I ain't seen an ad at all. Peanut Trucker said to Country Boy, he stole his number one. Country Boy says that was the point. I love it. Hike spends his weekend at the school catching up with grading. Destiny's retired now. I did not know you were retired. I did not know that. But you were a teacher? A lot of respect for that job. Absolutely do. It's thankless in many ways. The government just cut funding to our schools in a big way, but not enough to affect the education, but enough to kill off some of the after-school programs across the board. But it just feels like our educators are constantly dealing with not enough money, not enough time, and huge expectations. Mike is 3 more years. Nice. Bet you're looking forward to that retirement. Christy says, you need your weekends, Mike. Stop giving work that you have to grade. Gary is saying yes to something, and I don't bloody remember. Oh, yes. Is that your knives both have the plain. I love it. The birch handles. Destiny says, okay, we need a special Taborcorn 101 Drinks Live. Apron is a must, and the Drinks Journal. Okay, I will let Country Boy know when I buy it, and we'll see what we can do. David says that Pam was a teacher librarian. She had no marking, but worked long hours in order to keep the library open. Oh, yeah, food prep. Okay, yeah, they're ideal for food prep. Destiny says English is hard is the quotable quote for the night. Like Mike says, the hardest thing about being a teacher is losing students to accidents and illnesses. It is devastating. Yeah. I think the year before last year, as a lot of you know, I've been the chair of the governing board at the elementary school where now my youngest daughter goes, but at one point the eldest was there. I've been chairing that damn governing board for 7 years now, I think. And within the past 2 years, we lost a grade 3 kid to a kind of cancer that specializes in young children. And so we had a governing board meeting 4 days after that happened. And, I said sort of at the beginning, I said, listen, for those of you who worked with this kid, I'm thinking about you real hard right now. And I think we need to start this meeting off with like a minute of silence. You can turn off your cameras if you want. And they all did. And then after a minute, they all came back and everyone had red eyes, because what kind of universe creates a cancer that specializes in young children? I can't handle that. But yeah, so I mean, and it happens, right? It happens sometimes. It's still unfair, but it happens sometimes. Moving right along so I don't get all maudlin. Forgot to mention we had some fun on Sunday. Our oven caught fire. Very exciting. How? How did that happen? Christy, yeah, the Tabor Corn 101 is a Canadian whiskey. Tabor corn is corn from Tabor in Alberta. It's very famous for its corn. The same way as there's a Quebec analog. I don't know if Ontario has an analog, but like Quebec corn from certain regions is sort of locally famous as well. But Tabor corn is a very big deal. Probably makes a nice sweet. And the Tabor corn whiskey is going to be one of those bourbon analogs that are popping up everywhere to make up for the lack of actual bourbon in Canada. Oh, I mean, you can still get bourbon in Alberta, but even like the Kensington Wine Market had the bourbon sort of in a back corner rather than out prominently where it used to be. Country Boy, is that Tabor Corn 101? Is that from Bridgeland? Because Bridgeland is right there in Calgary. So I know that they make a Tabor corn bourbon. Bourbon. Is that the one? I'm looking for something. Country Boy is saying to Destiny, Grant, he speaks French a lot, so he has an excuse. What did I do this time? Hold on. Let me just scroll on up. Oh, English is hard. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. David, we definitely need more details on this oven fire. What did you guys do? Chris says, what were you cooking in the oven? Paper? Heck, Mike is asking me if I do flint and steel fire starting. So my very first video on my channel is a flint and steel video. Yes, I do. I've said kind of ad nauseum at this point, but I still maintain flint and steel is my favorite. Absolutely. Flint and steel, ferro rod, I don't know, stormproof matches. I would like to say like bow drill or something, but I have not been successful. I haven't put in the work required to become successful at bow drill or hand drill, but I have not yet been successful. So, I mean, I can't say that that's even on the list because I've never made it work for me. But yeah, I do love me some flint and steel action. I've said before that it's because I like the primeval feeling of it. The fact that it feels like I'm doing it the way the Romans would have, or even in the Renaissance or whatever, right? Although matches might have started making an appearance by the Renaissance, but like there's a medieval feeling to it. There's an ancient world feeling to it. It's like you're snapping a fire into existence, surrounded by the death of the Black Plague or something, or you're snapping a fire into existence, halfway up a mountain with Ötzi back in prehistoric times, because he had the iron pyrite, right? Not an actual flint and steel, but or you're a Roman legionary getting a fire going on a windswept, Germanian field, or you're someone with no name in a version of humans who had no language because it was so early, discovering that iron pyrite clacked together makes this dull little spark, and if you do it enough and you work hard enough and you find the right stuff that burns, you end up with a fire. The only thing that's changed is the technology, going from iron pyrite, or pyrites as some people will call them, stones, to a piece of steel and a flint, or a piece of steel and a quartz, or I have in fact used the back of a mora as the flint in that, holding it by the blade. Excellent way to slice your finger if you're not careful. So I don't do it unless it's kind of an emergency. I like it when you guys ask these questions because it gets me sort of talking about something bushcraft related, but like it gives me an excuse to sort of deep dive on the stuff that really gives me the fizz, you know? Country Boy says, yes, it is. He's saying, yes, it is a Canadian whiskey. Yeah, it is by Bridgeland. Okay. Yeah. So that's a little square bottle. I have a Bridgeland sitting, waiting for me in Calgary. That's, I couldn't fit into my luggage. Destiny says that she is jealous that I am bilingual. My French is, it sucks basic. Well, you know, I live where you need it, right? You definitely need it. And I live in I guess a blended family, I guess, shall we say? You know, the missus is francophone. I'm anglophone, and we bring up two perfectly bilingual kids. The plain ones. Yeah, I'm a classicist, so those are my favorites. I see no reason for myself to buy something with a painted handle from Opinel. Like Mora, you know, the old Mora number 1 and number 2 have that red handle. I would like one of those, by the way. Now, since I'm talking, I'd like one of those, by the way. I'm not hinting it. I don't want someone to buy me. What I'm saying is, I like the painted handle on that because that's what the classic version of that is, and I would like to get one. Just to have like the classic Mora Knief. But yeah, for an Opinel, I want the plain, just because again, that was the first variant. In the same way that my Feldknieven is the I just blanked on it. What's it called? Number 8? What the hell's it called? Holy schnitzel! I'm about to do a screen share because I love talking about knives. Did I really have to say that way? New tab. Am I correct? Yes. I said show on stream, fool. Click. There you go. Feldknieven. The best knives in the world. Come on, fool. There we go. All right. So, SK1? What the hell is it? I'm looking for, no, not folding knives, fixed blades, hunting knives. There he is, F1. Mine's not the L Max though. I would not be able to afford the L Max. Mine's not the laminated VG either. Damn it. So they don't even make it in my, I think mine's in the COS steel. Hoo-la! Look at that. Look at that stacked handle. Oh my God, I have got to get off this page. But yeah, F1. It's like, it's the basic one. It's the baseline of their product line. David was doing the self-cleaning thing. Okay. And you saw flames jumping out the oven door. Killed the power and waited for the flames to go out. How's the oven? You have to replace? Ooh, you have a Nesmuk in carbon steel. I like that. Still want my Nesmuk. Still waiting to get one. 2151. So that's a 3-year. So at 2157, I'll pour the whiskey. I just randomly looked at the clock in the corner of my screen. Country Boy can get the gist of conversation spoken in French, but can't speak a word. It's also really different if somebody's speaking European French versus like Quebecois. I think I told you guys at one point, standing in an apartment or a flat, I guess. No, an apartment in Paris, and there was a French Canadian show on. I think it was actually a Quebecois show, and it had French subtitles. And I remember feeling very insulted. But the thing is, most Parisians have no experience with like conversational Quebecois French, especially like joual or like the way French Canadians talk to each other. Right? It's rapid. The accent is very pronounced. And we speak a lot faster than Parisians do, and a little faster than those from around like Toulouse or that kind of area in this or like down in the south. But it's okay. It's it's got the hoppy bitterness, but it's not too bad. Not too much. It's a session IPA, so it's only 4% alcohol. So it's a light beer. Yeah, Destiny's saying kind of what we're all thinking. I mean, whew, good thing. Okay, so it's mostly Pineland. Okay. I love evergreens, man. I think you know that. But I love an evergreen forest. It smells like a piece of burnt toast. So either you set the place on fire or you're about to have a seizure. Yeah. I also thought it was primarily swampland. So I mean, I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense. Like only down in the south you would have that swampland, or like near the water. Florida's not. It's pretty big. Country Boy says that Alberta isn't that far from Arizona. Come up and grab a bottle, then head west to the Okanagan and pick up a bottle of black bourbon here in BC. And while you're at it, hit the Inkameep winery down in Osoyoos. Pick up some wines that'll make you fall in love. Hard to get that stuff back across the border, though. But to go gator hunting on one of those boats, the Pines get flooded when it rains a lot. So I think Florida is pretty damn close to sea level, isn't it? Or at least the whole southern section is pretty damn close to sea level, isn't it? David's got an oven for sale, good price. Destiny thinks that me gator hunting would be hilarious. Yeah, I like. I don't know. Can you eat them? I guess you eat them, right? I have this thing. I don't kill anything I'm not going to eat, but I think you can eat. Yeah. I won't be able to get across the border right now. Things have become very clear. They'll never let me across the border right now. But someday in the future, when the situation is different, I may get to cross that border again, which would be nice since the vast majority of my in-laws are in Florida and New York City. 2156. This is an okay bourbon analog as well. Ooh, that's a bit of a pour. It's sort of it's reminiscent of like a high rye bourbon. 33% rye. It's just it doesn't have the corn, so it doesn't have quite the sweetness. It's sort of it's in the wheelhouse of a good bourbon, but it's not there. It's not like a 1-to-1 the way some of these new Canadian whiskeys are. I was about to take a sip. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, right. That's it. Zero sugar root beer. Right. Yeah, we've had that convo before. Destiny, I'll take your oven only if it comes with the completed song lyrics. Yeah. Well, I mean, there were a lot of snowbirds, right, coming down from Quebec and I guess Ontario. A lot of them owned houses down there. The vast majority of them are selling those houses right now. But yeah, there was a lot of. It used to be, you'd go down to Florida on certain beaches, you'd hear like French everywhere. Now, Skip never drinks unless he's alone or with people. Yeah, you gotta have context. You gotta sort of nail that, get control over it, right? Disney says, and then Jess could make a gator cocktail on the gator hunting boat. Great Netflix special. Yeah, northern boy in a southern boat. These mosquitoes are the size of Lancasters. How do you survive? And the Floridians are there. Just shut up. Just stop complaining. Russell only drinks if he's at his cabin or when he's out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's good to sort of have rules around these things. Destiny, I also love root beer. I do. There's only two pops that I ever drink, and even then it's rarely. It's root beer and ginger ale. Unless like tonic water counts as a pop, but I don't think it does. Steve Ground's in the house. How you doing? How's Mr. Grounds tonight? Destiny is asking an interesting question. Does a propane stove still need electricity to get it going, like an electrical starter, or is it straight up propane? Dumb question, I know. I'm not going to say anything because when I had a gas stove, it was natural gas. But we never had an electric, like there was a pilot light kind of thing. The pilot light went out, you'd go in there with a match. David doesn't drink too much. He drinks just enough. It's 21:59. Who has a whiskey tonight? Country boy only drinks if he's awake. And the funny thing about drinking is, if you do too much of it, you ain't awake for long. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You need power, must energize a solenoid to open the gas valve. All right. I did not know that. Peanut Trucker says floating biscuits are homemade biscuits and floating in butter. Oh, so you melt the butter and then you can Google swinging biscuits. You'll never be the same. I will Google it later, but I don't like anything that's too buttery. Although apparently I'm alone, considering what everyone else is saying about him. Get a weed torch, melt that snow. Destiny says, "Oh no, sir, this steel leaf blower is the Big Daddy. It moves that wind-whipped bird of snow that can be heavy like one's mother-in-law. It's a beaut and a beast. How heavy is it, I wonder? 75 Fahrenheit. So scary." Destiny says, "Snow torch for the win." Yeah, the thing is, you melt all that snow away, and then it freezes again, and then you've got. Do you guys get any of that? 2200. Who's got a whiskey? Hey, there's Jim. How you doing, Jim? I'm really far behind. I'm really far behind here. I'll try to catch up. Yeah. I will hurry on. Everyone's saying hi to Jim. I love it. Jim says, "I'm already tired. I want to be retired." I'm retired every night. And I'm like tired again. Tenenbaum popping in. What time did you pop in? At 9:39. Man, I'm so 20 minutes ago. I'm gonna rush to sort of catch up here, people. How you doing tonight, Tenenbaum? How's the weather in Sweden? Tenenbaum's been pretty busy with work, and I've been actually sleeping at night. Nice. I was having this conversation. Oh, poor Chris didn't win the Powerball, so he's still working. Hold on a second. I had this conversation at work at lunchtime with a coworker. Her husband is an electrician. He doesn't do residential. If he did, I would have hit her up for her husband's number. Let me tell you. But he does like big installations kind of thing. And so we were talking about that, and I was telling her about how when I was a kid, like my summer job from like 15 to 20 or something. No, I think 14 to 19. It was like 5 years, but it started kind of early. Anyway, was in carpentry, working on renos, residential stuff, nothing too big. And how what I really miss about that, aside from having a real deep ingrained love of the smell of like sawdust, and I love the sound of a saw going or the sound of hammering. I love the smell of the sawdust. But what I really missed was like I was a strapping young guy, right? And I was wiry. I used to love falling into bed after a long ass day with that sort of full body tiredness that you can only really get from hard ass physical labor. And that these days I fall asleep after a long working day, mentally tired, but not physically tired. It's not the same thing. You don't fall into bed heavily and like, and then boom, you're out. You know, it can take a lot of time to get the brain to just shut down a little bit, first of all. But mental exhaustion makes me kind of cranky, kind of snaky, but full on physical exhaustion, it was just a joy. Excuse me. It was just a joy to roll into bed. I miss that, you know? And as Tenenbaum says, there is a real relationship between healthy sleep and his well-being. Yeah, and the same for me too. Yes, the Tabor Corn 101 is Bridgeland. Okay. What's the ABV on that? Is it 101 because it's like 50.5% ABV? My brother-in-law has Scotch whiskey on his sideboard that says 100 proof on it. Well, no, it says 100 degrees proof, which told me that was British proof. And indeed it was, because 50 British proof, it was, I believe, 57% ABV. Hold on a second. Let me just look that up, because I just blanked on what the number on the bottle was. 57.1 ABV, yeah. I mean, almost nobody uses British proof anymore. But like, British proof had a logic behind it. American proof is just, it's just ABV times 2. So there's literally no reason to use British proof either anymore, which is, I guess, why they don't. But I don't see why everything isn't just ABV. It's just ABV. Jeez. Tenenbaum ain't sleeping tonight, though. Destiny, you can, I mean, you're just fermenting stuff, right? You can make, like, what do you think? Apple brandy, right? Wine is grapes. Vodka can be anything. Corn, potatoes, anything. Barley, I guess. I mean, because here's the thing. Vodka is just a neutral spirit. You can make it from anything. There's plum brandy, there's pear, Poire William. You're just fermenting anything food related. It's just better when it's either a grain or a fruit. Like, I've never heard of anything being made from tomatoes, right? Like, what would you make? I mean, now that I've said that, there's probably some Eastern European distillery that's using like parsnips and tomato. Oh, actually, there's a gin made from Asian parsnip. It's the James May gin, but I don't know if it's made from Asian parsnip or if Asian parsnip is part of the herb basket that they use to flavor the gin. I think he said it was actually made from Asian parsnip. Dragon breath. What are you referring to? What did I say at 9:45? Tannenbaum says, "Yep, if it can rot, you can ferment it." That is true. Fire starting ramblings by Jazz. Oh, is dragon breath a fire starting method? Dragon breath, in the context of fire starting, refers to products and concepts inspired by the mythical ability of dragons to breathe fire. One such product is Dragon's Breath Fire Starter Gel. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what that is. Sorry, I blanked on that, Gary, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, it a minute in the glass per year in the cask, right? And this doesn't have an age statement on it, which means it's probably 3 years because 3 years is the minimum in most countries that it needs to sit in a barrel for you to call it whiskey. Product of Quebec. That's not the whiskey Franklin origin. Yeah, whatever. The salamander on the label. Who cares? Yeah, it doesn't say anything about any kind of age statement at all. So it's a 3 year, which is why I poured it at like 57. Oh, all right. Gary's out. Good night, Gary. Nice to have you around. Sleep well. He's already gone. He's not hearing me say this, but you know, David's new song should be entitled "I Fell Onto a Burning Wood Stove" with melodies suspiciously similar to the Johnny Cash classic. He's talking about the Ring of Fire. Ring of Fire has a whole different connotation if you've sat on a burning stove. That's gross. Ah. Country Boy says, I wouldn't want to experiment too far with that whole if it can rot, you can ferment it. Well, except that, fermentation, right? It's kind of. Destiny says, so what is moonshine? Technically, it's illegal booze, illegal homemade booze. There's a lot of stuff that's marketed as moonshine now, though. But okay, so by definition, there's probably not a lot of rules around what makes moonshine, he said while surreptitiously Googling it, hoping that nobody notices. But like, I don't know if these days, because there are a lot of products marketed as moonshine, right? It says moonshine on the label. So I don't know if there are regs for that. Moonshine. I'm saying this purely off the top of my head. I'm not staring right at a Wikipedia page or anything like that. It's a high proof liquor. Okay. Traditionally made or distributed illegally. Yeah. The name was derived from a tradition of distilling the alcohol at night to avoid detection. I knew that. First decades of the 21st century, commercial distilleries have adopted the term for its outlaw cachet and have begun producing their own legal moonshine, including many novelty flavored varieties that are said to continue the tradition by using a similar method and or locale of production. In 2013, moonshine accounted for about 1/3 of global alcohol consumption. Fractional crystallization, moonshine stills, evaporation stills, plastic still, boiling stills. Oh my land. Safety. Poorly produced moonshine can be contaminated, mainly from materials used in the construction of the still. Stills employing automotive radiators as condensers are particularly dangerous. In some cases, glycol produced from antifreeze can be a problem. Just buy whiskey. Don't mess around. You're going to go blind. Yeah, nope. Heavy metals, lead. Oh my. It's because like a lot of these stills were just sort of cobbled together out of old things like car radiators and stuff like that, right? Yes, I have an F1. That is the truth. And if I could afford it, I would buy another one with one of these super steels. And that new sheath they've got, I would absolutely buy another one of those in a Montreal Minute if I had any money. I would love another F1. Yeah, pilot's knife. Is it still handed out to Swedish pilots? Yeah, they don't make VG10 anymore. Yeah, when I bought mine, mine is a cost something. It's in the back, and I'm not going to get it. But like I want one with the new steels because I want to see. Whoops, come back. I want to see how easy the newer steels like the LMAX and stuff are to sharpen this, because I have heard that LMAX is a lot harder. A lot of people love that LMAX, right? A lot of people think that LMAX is magic. Was I getting buffering? Am I? Oh, I'm buffering. Schnitzel. That tells me that all my girls are watching stuff. Beto in the house. How you doing? Just let me check something here. No, I'm just checking to see if my girl is on the iPad right now. Wait, when is downtime? Downtime is on. So how is she using? Give me a second. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I'm definitely buffering. Yeah, I'm getting very choppy video. Pisses me off. But look, there's nothing I can do about it, right? I'm not going to run upstairs and say, get off the phone. I said hi to Beto, right? Everyone's saying hi to Beto, so I'm just going to scroll on down. Peanut Trucker says, David Evans is always on fire. I love that. Yeah, I agree, Destiny. That's definitely a quotable quote. David says, but many people believe that Parisian French is so much easier to understand in comparison to Quebecois. So what's going on there is that North American French or French Canadian French is a historical variant in terms of pronunciation for sure, but also in terms of certain words. There are some words that don't exist in Parisian anymore. The word to sit down is different. You know, in Quebec we say asseyez-vous, whereas in France that's considered a very rural way of saying it, because they say asseyez-vous. There's a lot of stuff like that, but it's just the basic, accent is much more. It's about 200 years. It's about 200 years sort of back or before, I guess, where the Parisian accent is now. Because there was an effort to create sort of a central French accent for around the capital region, in the same way as received pronunciation in the UK. It's synthetic. I mean, some people grow up with that as their natural accent, but it's a synthetic accent. It was created to, for a certain class in London, right? The Parisian accent is also very engineered in many ways, whereas that didn't happen in Quebec. Peanut Trucker says, I did get text messages last week. You were asking about me. Thank you for your concern. I appreciate it. I don't have to text Chris because he keeps sending me pictures of, look at this terrific wine we're drinking tonight. And I'm like, Chris, I can't get that. So just tell me give me the notes. Give me all the tasting notes. Peanut Trigger says, if I have family in Florida, you're definitely coming to my house for a barbecue blowout. Once it's safe for me to cross the border again, I would like to take you up on that. Christy's having a bullet. Is that a 9-year? Are you having the 9? Bullet. Country Willie says, you're not behind, Jess. We're just way ahead. Fair enough. Yes, the one is 50.5. Okay. Yeah, so that's why it's called a 101. Okay. Tenenbaum is going back to bed when we're finished here. Fair enough. Coming in, it's only another, 40 minutes or so. Again with the ads, but I'm not getting any ads. Audio is fine, but video is choppy. Yeah, I'm not gonna deal with it tonight. I'm like, what I think what I need to do is get the next level up from my internet provider. It's a jump in monthly charge though. And I have to replace the modem. So money. Destiny remembers falling asleep as a kid after running around the neighborhood back alley, then having supper in summer in the backyard by the barbecue. The sleep was so deep. Yeah, absolutely. I spent poor Clem today. It was like 7:05, and she was finished her supper and her dessert, and she was just watching the Clone Wars. And she sort of looked at me and said, "Can we go to bed now, Daddy?" I said, "Okay." Packed her up, read her a couple of stories. Actually, she read me the stories at this point. We were reading Les Couleurs Barba Papa. Did Barba Papa happen in English? Barba Papa. I shall see. I'll show you a picture. Les Couleurs Barba Papa. Les couleurs. Cliquez le bouton ci-dessus pour continuer vos achats. I'm not buying anything. I just wanted to see the freaking book. Why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that? So I will now share this screen. I'll get rid of that shared screen because we're not looking at that anymore. Hello. Share. Load in. Yeah, so did this was Baba Papa like a thing in English? Did you guys like did you guys see these books in English? Conjoy says, who needs sleep? I did that when I'll do that. I can do that when I'm in the ground. Oh my god. Wait, did everything just sort of jump back? Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Everything sort of jumped back a little bit here. A lot, actually. Oh, why you gotta do that? Sorry, just give me a second to get back to where we was. Get back to where we was. Audio is fine. Video is choppy. Gosh, I'm falling asleep as a kid. Yeah, choppy here too. I know, same choppy, but the audio is fine. That's all right. Hey, Marcel's here, or Marcel was here at 10:14, saying hi to everybody, everybody. Every time I say that word, that song pops into my head. Destiny says, even mushroom alcohol. Though some trial and error, Eric Reinsvold and the fungi and algae class created a successful beer with porcini mushrooms. We have a Gaspé mushroom gin upstairs. I'm just trying to catch up here. I gotta scroll and scroll and scroll a little bit. Destiny says the New Orleans French is fabulous. Love its rhythm and its sassy sound. It does have a sassy sound, that's for sure. I guess I don't have to show Le Barbe Papa anymore. When I was working in Black Box Theater, I had this stage manager who was from New Brunswick, so she spoke Shack and obviously New Brunswick French. And speaking New Brunswick French in Quebec is a lot like speaking Montreal area French in Paris. They'll switch to English because they think that you're not speaking your language because you sound different. And especially with New Brunswick French, it does share with Louisiana French that it kind of sounds a little English because it comes from an area where French is very much not the majority language. Country Boy finds Louisiana French musical, but unintelligible. PEI accent. Fair enough. Look, I spend a chunk of August every year hanging with Newfoundlanders, and I will tell you something. In some areas of Newfoundland, the accent is indistinguishable from certain areas of Ireland, like indistinguishable. So Christy says she did not have that book in English. Yeah, maybe it's a French only thing. Yeah, peanut trucker too. Country Boy says, my stepmom's family is from the Rock. If you can understand Newfie, you can understand anything. Absolutely. Especially after a few pints or a couple of drams. Tenenbaum says, I remember Barbara Papa from English Canadian TV. So maybe it was like translated up here because, because bilingual country. But maybe it wasn't widely available elsewhere. Because they made a cartoon and everything. Barba Papa, which is the name of the family, but also the name of the dad. He said, sharing the screen one more time. One more time. One more time. I would love for my brain to not compel me to make a musical reference every time I get reminded. So, Barba Papa is French for candy floss, which is pink, which is why Barba Papa himself is pink. Well, which is why, like, I'm a scholar, but I believe that's why he's pink. And it's the Barba Papa family. Like, they all have, there's Barbidure, who is very strong. That's the red one. There's Barba Belle, which I believe is the orange one because she's so pretty. No, green one is Barbabel and all that. It's very, very highbrow stuff, evidently. Peanut Chucka say, my wife ain't from Georgia, and I'm from New Hampshire. My mother has the deep New England accent. They can't understand each other. I'll tell you something. Vermont and Maine, there's some accents going on there. I do love Vermont. I'm trying to get comfortable here, people. No judgment. Peanut Trucker lost his accent when he moved to Tennessee in 1990. That's pretty late for you to lose an accent. Like, usually, once you get to adulthood, an accent is pretty much solidified. Like, it'll soften over time, but when I was a kid, one of my aunt's work friends was Scottish and moved here with a daughter rather than had her daughter here. And so when that daughter was young, because she was small when they moved here, and even this I'm talking to you guys about like 30 years ago. This little girl, had a very Scottish accent, and by the time that kid was 10, not a single trace. She sounded like an Anglo-Quebecer. Apparently, Tennessee will take the accent out of anyone. I told you I had an ex-girlfriend whose family bought a ranch near Kingston in Tennessee, singing like all Rocky Top and all that stuff. But I never did go because the girlfriend lived in the Bronx when I met her. She was there. She was going to Fordham. And I literally never wonder how she's doing. Talking on the CB radio helped get the Southern draw friends back home a hard time understanding. Okay. I could get that, I think. Sometimes just there are certain American accents that I just cannot understand, no matter what. No matter what, no matter how, no matter who. I'm actually caught up here, people. I have caught up with the chat. You know what I haven't had tonight? Aside from at the very beginning? Tea. Such a good drink. I wish I had something fabulous to tell you guys about. Like, check out this new axe I got. Check out this new knife I got. Check out this new skill set I got. Or whatever. It's just like everything I'm working on right now is dyspraxia related or neurodivergence related or organizing my workspace related. I feel that there's nothing really exciting happening right now. Did I tell you guys that I started watercoloring again after like 30 years? I've made 2. Did I show anyone any of these like on the Discord or anything? Do I have a picture of the first watercolor? I thought I did, but I do not. That's weird. How bizarre, how bizarre. Oh, and we finally got some pictures of our band playing at that festival, which is nice because I had pictures of all the other bands, but obviously I had not taken any pictures of our own because playing music at the time. Schnitzel. Oh, it's because I made a TikTok about it. Um, did I show that in the Discord? No. Where did I show those? Oh, did I show it in the last live stream? Because I recently made a second one for my mom's birthday, which I'll just, I guess, bring up on my phone, on my damn phone. No, come on, fool. Ah, Country Boy says I think it was a live stream. That makes sense. So here's the second, my second one. Ugh, it's not showing up well. Hold on. Let me there you go. I mean, it's very hard for me to do. First of all, because due to the dyspraxia, control, fine motor control is exhausting. But also, it's not like riding a bike. You do lose the skill, and so I feel like I'm having to relearn it. But it's cool. And Destiny says the clouds are awesome. Clouds are what I'm working on right now. Most, I think. I feel that if I can get a sky really sort of skookum, then I'll have really hit something. Look, all I ever see is the flaws, right? It's always been like that for me in art, and for me with music as well. I'll listen to a recording of myself, and I'm like, "Oh, did you hear that?" And they're like, "Yeah, I heard that." I'm what? What do you mean there was a problem there? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. Look, I'm not going to be a painter the way my family wanted me to be. That ship has sailed. But if I can, you know, get some real enjoyment out of making my little pictures, then good enough for me. Ah, Russell. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Funky McPunky. I'm going to take a note that next week we're going to talk about EDCs. And this would have been an ideal night for you because I've been thinking about EDC lately. I've been thinking because I have all these EDC concepts and then I just don't end up carrying my stuff. So, Tuesday the 16th, EDC discussion. Good thing you're here to remind me of these things at 10:30 at night. Next time from now on, every Tuesday I'll ping the Discord. What am I talking about tonight? Excuse me. The Tim Kiki pick of Raspberry Rock is beautiful. I think it's acrylic though. I think he does acrylics. I seem to remember his stuff looks like acrylic to me. So, and did he say at one point? So watercolor is my favorite of the painting media because no matter how mundane the item that you're painting is, there's a just because of the medium, there's like this kind of almost dreamy fantasy, lighthearted look to it. You know, um, watercolors are a whole lot less forgiving than any other medium, like paint medium, though, because you can't cover up a mistake. Oil, you can cover anything up. Oil is super forgiving. I haven't done enough oils to consider myself skilled in it at all. But even acrylic to a certain extent, you can cover up a mistake. With watercolors, if you're about to put paint to paper, you got to really mean it. You know what I'm saying? Country Boy says, my art is in leather, but I appreciate all forms. I used to paint and draw when I was a teen, but I lost the skill due to inactivity. I stepped away from painting. It's funny because this is interesting to me and likely to no one else, but whenever people used to ask me, well, why'd you stop painting? You went to art school, I always just sort of blithely said, because everybody should disappoint their family that badly at least once in their life. But once the dyspraxia made itself known through an assessment, everything really became clear. Like, the reason I fell out of love with creating art, fell in love with the camera as my new voice became clear. Because, like, here's a little sketch I did. Just a little sketch. Just a little sketch. He said, hunting madly for the sketch. Give me a second here, people. And this sketch shows what the problem was, what the dyspraxia problem is. Okay? I can't draw a goddamn circle to save my life. Right? I can't draw a straight line to save my life. For someone who was aiming towards an artistic life, that's a death knell. It's frustrating. It causes absolute rage. And now I know that it wasn't my fault. It's not that I was bad at art. It was just my fine motor skill is completely lacking, and I have to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on therapy to get that to because it doesn't only affect the paintbrush, it affects my bass playing. There are times, no matter how much I practice, where my finger just goes to the wrong fret, or god damn it, the wrong string. You can't practice yourself out of a dyspraxia problem. You can't spend enough hours with a paintbrush in your hand to get yourself past dyspraxia, not without an occupational therapist. So 30 years later, it became crystal clear to me why I put down the paintbrushes and never touched them again. Although I have little tubes of watercolors in there that haven't been touched in 30 years that are still pristine. Like the painting I showed you of the trees, those were 30-year-old watercolors. Still worked, which was fabulous because they're very good quality. Because back in the day when I was in art school, you didn't just buy water. Well, there were no dollar stores, but you couldn't just buy the dollar, whatever was the 90s equivalent of a dollar store watercolor set, because it was unacceptable to have that at school. You had to buy, Cotman or Winsor Newton or whatever. Country Boy says watercolor is ethereal. Acrylic is. That is exactly it, Country Boy. That is the perfect way of saying it. Absolutely, and oils too are there on the acrylic side, but more vibrant, right? They're acrylics plus. They're high octane acrylic. I mean, except acrylics are water based, but you know what I'm saying. But that's exactly it. Watercolor has this ethereal sort of fragileness to it. Destiny, you should write that down. Watercolor is ethereal. Acrylic is more defined and crisp. Oops, hold on. I want this first. Jim says, my last painting had a mistake. The Russell caught. I was able to fix it. Acrylics, absolutely. Country Boy says, my drawing muse was wildlife. Painting was landscape. Russell loves Jim's painting. And he was surprised that Jim was able to make the change. I love this. Jim says, thanks to you, Russell. Russell says, dude, no. I was the guy in the meeting who said bug. That was it. I've been in a couple of those meetings. I've written up some bugs for devs at my company before. But no, I didn't get the specific reference. I kind of feel it's an Office Space reference or something. I should watch Office Space again. It's the second movie tonight I've said, oh, it's from Big from with Tom Hanks. I did not know that. Oh, you know what? I didn't see Big. I did not see Big, though. I do love me some Tom Hanks. Destiny caught the quote quote. Thank you, Destiny. Are you just writing these down in like a spiral notebook, or are you just keeping track of them on the computer, or what? I'm asking because I'm a guy with like 3 of these. I mean, just one in this size, but like everything, goes into a notebook. Come on, fool. Goes into a notebook like this, Special ink, fountain pen, special paper, Japanese paper, expensive notebook, expensive pens, expensive ink. My wife calls me an expensive bitch, and I do not think that she's wrong. Expensive notebook. Yeah, Jimmy, went over my head too, but that's because for a guy who went to film school, there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen just because there are certain points in my life when everything was just too damn busy. There's a lot of films that I kind of feel like I need to go back and watch, and some that like it is shocking that I haven't seen. Oh, excuse me. You made the quotes, mister. You made the quotes. Okay, so Destiny says that quotable quotes is a digital file book. Okay. Country Boy says, I think your wife is correct. I think so too. The first time she called me that, I was like, okay, but you know what I'm saying? Because I was all about to be like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing the math in my head and thinking, yeah, that makes sense. Kind of hard to get all insulted and jump up in my own defense when it's like, to hell with you for being so completely accurate. Oh, where did that go? Where did that go? Where did that go? Where did that go? I need that. I need that. Where'd you go? There it is. Mark Davidson popping in with a bullet. I see. Can watercolors be both ethereal and arboreal? Asking for friend. Yes, they can. Absolutely can. Absolutely. Because why not? I want it to be true, therefore it must be true. Destiny says Kristen's quote is still the best one. Box wine is card Bordeaux. Yeah, that is really good. I've always called cardboard wine cuvée du dépanneur. So dépanneur is like if you were in New York, I think you would call it a bodega. If you were in I don't know, corner store anywhere else, cuvée du dépanneur, cuvée of du corner store. But I think card Bordeaux is better. Much, much better. Yeah, Jim's like, oh my gosh, that is the best. Absolutely. I really need to work card Bordeaux into conversation like stat. I just don't know how to do it. This whiskey, this Franklin Origin, is from a distillery called La Maison. Oh, come on, fou. La Maison Civaux, which is a family. They're immigrants from Hungary who, back in Hungary, had run a very successful fruit brandy distillery. And I don't know if all of the Civaux moved to Quebec or if it's just sort of one branch that came here. But so they have many decades of distilling under their belts. And the whiskey bears that out. It's very good whiskey. Cal Bordeaux. It's a very good wine. Very good whiskey is better than very good wine, but the very good wine is good tea. Who's still with us? Oh, we got 18 people hanging. Why are you guys hanging? 18 of you with this boring 53-year-old dude drinking the booze. Did I show you guys this? I broke something like a decade and a bit ago and finally took it to a luthier for a repair job. This is an octave mandolin. So think of a mandolin, but an octave lower. Ooh, it's not in tune. So I've been learning myself. Been teaching myself the, yeah, that's not in tune. That's not bad. It's just for a bass player, this is really small. So like an actual mandolin, which is about half the length, is comically tiny in my hands. But I mean, again, I'm teaching myself this as a way of sort of, I still haven't seen an occupational therapist. I'm on a waiting list. So this is how I'm just sort of trying to get my hands to do something that I want them to. But like, I am terrible with a pick. It's awful. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. It's out of tune. Anyways, it's nice to have it. I had broken the nut. So that's fixed. He did a little tune up. It's nice to have it back. It's got a little sound system in it. He currently has my expensive bass in for a setup. He's a guy I took my Fender to when it got knocked off its stand during the St. Patrick's Week slaughter, and a big chunk got knocked out of the fretboard. It's fine now. Filled it in. Can't feel it. I mean, it's visibly obvious if you look, but I don't care. I just don't want it to feel. I mean, fretboard is, you need to not have anything wrong with the feel of your fretboard because you have to be able to move across it. Peanut Trucker says, it would be fun if the last 15 minutes when you say somebody's name, say it in French. Yeah, but Chris, in French, you'd be Christophe. Christophe. Peanut Trucker. What would Peanut Trucker be in French? Camionneur de... Okay, in Quebec, camionneur de peanut. But in French, camionneur d'arachide. Because arachide is peanut in French, international French. Camionneur de peanut, camionneur d'arachide. Jim saith, I'm thinking that my next backcountry trip needs to include my painting kit. I keep thinking about all the bushcraft crap to take. Never enough thought about taking paints plein air. Yeah, no, I agree. So somewhere here I have a very small travel painting kit, which I brought with me to Alberta. Yeah, I would say you should definitely bring your stuff with you. If you've got a travel size, that's amazing. If you don't, I mean, if you have room for your... I love the idea of sitting next to a lake and painting that lake. Sitting next to a mountain and painting that mountain. Like not using no intermediary, right? No photograph that you're painting off of. You're painting from what you see. I love that. Am I buffering? No, it looks okay. Am I buffering? No, it looks okay. Just give me a second to sneeze. Oh, yeah, I just showed that. But yeah, Jim, I absolutely agree. Do it. Do it. I hate it when I break a nut. J'haïs ça quand je brise le... I don't know what the nut is in French. It's not a noix. What's the nut on a guitar in French? Let me look that up. Nut, string instrument. Yeah, but I want to know in French. No, I don't mean a French style nut. What? Oh my land, internet, you're so full of stupid. Hold on. The nut on a string musical instrument is a piece of harpage. I know. But what's it called? The word may have come from the German nut, pronounced nut, meaning groove or slot. The nut, however, is called in French, the nut is known as a scier, which, much like the German, can also translate to mean saddle. Scier. Okay. J'ai ça quand je brise le scier. Scier, that's an awful word. That's terrible. Scier. It's garbage. I hate that word. Excuse me. Anyway, it says, je déteste quand je casse une noix, but I think it's a scier. No buffering or moving, says Destiny, which is nice. Marcel is Tabernacle. Marcel is back. Are you going, Marcel? Yeah. Un petit poisson dans la cuisine. A little fish in the kitchen. Russell bought an innocent gun. Forgot to open it. Come on, man. There's still time. There's 6 whole minutes left of this live stream. Marcel says, words of wisdom, y'all be sure to hit the thumbs up. And I agree with that. Because I'm working it here, people. I'm working it. See, that's a terrible word. Like, I wonder if there's a Quebecois term as well. You know? I live in fear of somehow breaking the nut on my Sadowski bass because that nut is made from mammoth ivory. So I feel that it would be expensive to replace. Country Boy says, what's my name in French? I do not know. Because like Country Boy, there's a sense of what that means. But like that wouldn't, like, garçon de campagne, it doesn't have the same concept behind it. Garçon champêtre. Piégé dans la ville. It doesn't. Country boy trapped in the city. Garçon de campagne. Piégé dans la ville. It's a lot of words. Thing is, French takes more space than English does. You know, when you do a French translation, at the end of it, you're about a third larger than it was in English. She said y'all, right? Did y'all catch Marcel's southern accent? She said y'all. Doesn't translate. No, it doesn't. It kind of doesn't. It's Peanut Trucker says Marcel is a southern girl. Where are you from? Aren't you somewhere in Texas, Marcel? Does that count as a southern state? Yeah, I guess it does. They were on the gray side, right? Scott has a lot of XP. Does he? I haven't even seen. Let me take a look. Wow. Holy crap, Country Boy. Is that because you threw me $100, or is that because you're just posting so much? I mean, Country Boy is good with the posting. That guy can keep up a conversation for sure. Jim says, in French, sailing vessel, Raven flintlock. So a flintlock, I used to know what that was called. And I don't anymore. I am blowing my spelling here. Oh, fusil à silex. Fusil à silex. Because I think silex is a little flint, right? So bateau à voile, fusil à silex. Sailing vessel, raven. Oh, except the raven's not in there. Voilier, which is a sailboat. Voilier, corbeau. Is it corbeau or corneille? Corbeau, fusil à silex. Whew. This is tough, people. This is tough. Yes, a Texas girl, says Marcel. Are you a West Texas girl? Don't answer that. I don't want us giving sort of anything like an exact geographical location. Don't even tell us what city you're in. Although you're probably, you're not in Dallas. I'm tired, guys. Oh, we've only got 1 minute left. Holy snap. That's more than a minute's worth of chuggage. I'm not going to Cusack. Cusack means bottom, dry bottom. It means, bottoms up. Chug, chug, chug. Not going to do that with whiskey. Because I'd end up on my arse for sure. Hating life. Room spinning. Christy's asking Marcella if she's home from her trip. Central Texas. Countryboy says, I'm rarely number one. Peanut Trucker, I usually struggle to maintain number 3. Tenenbaum says, holy snaps. Snaps, by the way, is Swedish for schnapps. Helig snaps. Heli? Yeah, that's holy, right? Or am I just too drunk? I'm not even drunk. Jim says, nice coastal pics, Marcel. Dolphins. Marcel grew up on the Texas coast in a beach town. Oops, hold on. Chris unloads in the morning, then home till Monday. I'll send lots of beach pictures. Nice. Nice. Jim is out. Good night, Jim. Sleep well. Oh, it's because it's 11. All right. I guess we're all shutting her down. We're all going home. We're all going to bed. We're all sleeping the sleep of the dead. I dearly hope that's what I do tonight. I wake up feeling all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow. What a stupid thing to say. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. What does that even mean? Country Boy wants Chris to send food pics. Yeah. Christy says, well, Scott, you blew that out of the water. I agree. That's a lot of XP. All right, people. It's 11:01, so I'm going to shut her down and finish this little dram while doing what I call my nightly whimsies, which is my nightly journaling. And then I'm going to go to sleep with about a third of my to-do list undone, but that's okay because tomorrow is a new day. And I'm a big fan of new days. So everybody, between now and next week we are talking about EDC. Okay. Doesn't have to be like, here's my prepper EDC. It's like, no, I mean, not everyone, but most people have an EDC thing. Here's my wallet. Here's my phone. Here's the watch I always wear. Here's the 9mm I keep in my bra. I'm kidding about that last one. So next week we're talking about EDCs. All right. Everybody have a good night between now and next week. Everybody, please stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane, and be kind to one another. Good night, all.